Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Ben Olson, that's Nathan Fox. We're the founders of lsatdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. This email from Dija is on Demon class difficulty.
Hi, Nate, Ben, Josh, and the rest of the team. I'm a devoted listener of the podcasts and a live member for a while now. I have finally found a rhythm of balancing studying an hour a day, alternating between drilling and timed sections, and attending live classes alongside my evolving work schedule. That's great. I'm glad you're coming to the classes. I'm especially glad that you're also doing your drilling and timed sections. That's really important if you're a live student. When it comes to live classes, how do I know if I am attending classes at the right level for me? I know that one class has a recommended dashboard score listed in the syllabus. Sometimes I will do the questions before class to get a feel of the difficulty before joining. Other times I log into the class if my schedule allows, like a test drive, and assess while I listen to the instructor teach and other Demon users bring questions. I even know that classes have the foundational, intermediate, and advanced tabs. Tags, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing you can do, DJ, is you can just watch the recordings of the classes.
Yeah.
And you can watch those on like higher speed if you need to. But that'd be a good way of doing a test drive before you commit to a scheduled live class. Deja continues, while all of this gives insight into the difficulty levels of the classes, I am not sure which classes will challenge me best for what I need at different times in my LSAT journey. I know each class has something to offer, but ultimately it is unfeasible to attend all of them. Is there a way to best decide which classes to attend over others? It is wildly unfeasible to try to attend all the classes.
For sure. I feel like you might be overthinking this. I would attend a class, get as much out of it as you possibly can. If you felt like you walked away with some actionable, interesting clarifications, then attend that class again.
Clicks, right?
Yeah. If not, try somebody else.
Like, did it feel like you attempted a question and you felt that question click where it made 100% sense to you? Either because you got it right or because you got it wrong and the instructor helped you to understand it.
Either
way, I feel like that's a win. But if you're doing, like, for example, if the class is way too hard for you, everything's going to seem bewildering. You miss all the questions. The explanations go over your head. You're not getting any clicks. That's probably not the right class for you. On the other hand, a class that's beneath your difficulty level, you might not be feeling any clicks either because you do the syllabus and they all just seem like, well, duh.
Yeah.
You know,
where you listen to the discussion and you already know the answers.
It doesn't feel like it's improving your understanding. The students are asking questions that are way below your level. Then that's probably not the right class for you.
I do want to make a side note, not just for you, DJ, but anyone listening who's considering classes. I think there's an advanced class bias. Like people want to, like, oh, I want to go to the hardest class there is. If I can figure that out, then I'm going to figure out everything below that. And I think a lot of people underestimate how much they get out of foundational classes, even when you get the questions right. I'm not saying to keep going if you didn't get those clicks, but if you go and you get the question right, the teacher asks questions about some of the questions, and you're able to answer the questions that the teacher is asking about those questions in your head accurately, then maybe it's not for you. But there's going to be a lot of times where you go, oh, yeah, well, this is why I chose D, and it's actually a different reason. And you're in the perfect position to take away that lesson because you understand all the context around that issue because it's not a super hard question. And so then sometimes you can make more foundational progress that can pay dividends throughout the test.
One more thing I would say is, do you feel like you're productively asking questions and getting those questions answered when you attend those classes?
Yep.
In my class and in Ben's classes, we aggressively use the chat feature in Zoom, and we have TAs there to help monitor the chat for our classes.
Yeah.
And so I expect when I teach a class in Zoom these days, I expect a vibrant discussion in the chat between the students and the TA, and I'll keep an eye on it. And if anything interesting pops up there, I'll bring it into the verbal discussion. I also want people to use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and then I call on them, and then they ask questions, and that guides the discussion for the whole class. If you're not doing those two things, if you're not asking questions either in the chat or out loud, then I really question whether live classes is actually the right thing for you. I'd rather talk you out of it. I'd rather save you $100 a month, and you could watch recorded classes, which you can, you can watch at 1.5 speed or 2 times speed or whatever.
Absolutely.
Or just use the Demon purely self-study without any classes at all, if you're not gonna like take part in the discussion. Does that make sense?
Totally. I want to say more about your 2 times speed idea, because I actually think there's an interesting efficiency there. So when you're listening to a class in 2 times speed, it could be the worst thing for you because you're not actually understanding what you're listening to. But a lot of times there is a lot of just conversation that makes 100% sense to you. So you can listen to it quickly. And then as soon as the discussion raises something that is not 100% clear to you, you stop, you go back 15 seconds, you slow it down, and then you zero in on that because that's your weakness. And you really unpack that, learn from it, and then maybe resume at 2 times speed. It's an efficient way of studying.
Maybe go normal speed during the part where we're reading the actual passage, though.
Sure, absolutely.
The actual passage,
I mean, it depends. Sometimes people talk slow.
And the correct answer, they all seem like they would justify 1.0 speed. But yeah, I get it. If you can handle it, if it's all making sense to you, then it's all making sense to you. But the thing I don't want is people to just sit back totally passively and not participate at all.
No, the point is to extract takeaways from these interactions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the fastest way to get there is by actually asking questions. So, it differentiates us that we tend to have lots of cameras on in our live classes, because that's a way of participating and being present and communicating with your instructor. I can tell when people are smiling and people do hand gestures and other people are like holding their head, I can tell that they're really struggling. So I really want, from my live students, I want cameras on if you can. I want you to raise your hand and put yourself out there and ask me questions. And whether you can put your camera on or not, I want vibrant participation in the chat, because that's just an amazing way to have a side conversation that doesn't distract from the main conversation.
Yeah.
And we can really only do that online. We could never do that in our in-person classes. And scores have skyrocketed since we moved everything online.
Yeah.
Anything more for Deja?
No, thanks for writing in.
Thanks, Deja. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you would like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.